You're watching Cable 2.
Welcome to the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education Policy Committee. My name is Alex Bohannon, and I will be serving as chair this evening as Board Member Motzinger is not with us. As a reminder, the members of this committee are Elizabeth Motzinger, Andrea Bramer, Deanna Kaplan, Marilyn Parker, and myself. We have 3 members present, so that does constitute a quorum. At this time, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. We have one item on for discussion and another one on for action. The first discussion item is proposed revisions to policy 4122, substitute teacher requirements, with our Chief HR Officer, Jevelyn Bottom-Reed.
I just want to say a good evening to all board members and Board Chair Woodbury and Superintendent McManus. I am coming back to you. As you know, I recently came up here and talked about the requirements for subs, and I also said that I would be back within a month or so to give you an update that would include another change after my team was able to do some research. So my team's here, Ms. Shaterika Parks and Ms. Frances Yandel, as well as we have a representative from ESS that's here, and they work together to come up with this plan. So I just want to acknowledge that. So the objective of what I'm going to review with you is to actually update the minimum requirement for substitute teachers. We also want to talk about select requirements that are competitive and similar to other North Carolina districts. So that's the goal in all of this. So this is another review. We actually had to update this. I shared this with you earlier, what other districts are doing, because other districts are making changes as well. So Cabarrus still has 0 college credit requirements. Charlotte-Mecklenburg has the 48 requirements that we currently have. However, they implemented recently something called a guest teacher. That's effectively a substitute teacher that has a requirement of a high school diploma. And they're more like our building-based subs that are rotating. Cumberland County does not have a requirement. Durham, Gaston doesn't have one, but has somewhat of a differentiation. Guilford still at the 48, Johnston, Union, Wake, and then we're at the 48. As you recall, we used to be at 60, so we used to be the highest out of other similar districts. So we made the change, and so we had the month of November to see what that change would be like. So the change was made in October to go from 60 to 48. So during the month of November, you can also see some of our other substitute hires. When we went from October to November, because things really settled down right around October, after we were able to move all of our, what we would call district originals, or subs that used to be with our district when we were doing the substitute, and moved them over to from us to ESS. That's why you see these large numbers. And then October, it became more about recruiting subs, and we had a slight increase by being able to make that change between October and November. And if you think about it, November, we had even less time to recruit because of holidays and things like that. So that was encouraging to us that we saw a slight increase. If it had been 1, I'd still be happy. That's how hard it is to get subs right now. So this is what our recommendation for our non-certified substitute teachers. As you can see, we took the strikeout for the 48 and said they need to be at least 21 years of age, have a high school diploma or GED, and they must complete the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Substitute Teacher Training, which I'm just about to talk to you about. So the substitute teacher training. We had a goal to prepare new substitute teachers for the classroom, and we wanted to require these subs to complete this new substitute teacher training. The training will provide our new substitutes with some basic skills and knowledge to be successful regardless of their educational level. The substitute training will also be comprehensive, and it's developed in partnership with our instructional services team, so it can be tailored specifically to Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. We felt that's the best way to approach this. And they'll be able to even practice and deal with the content and be better prepared to be substitute teachers and support our students. So we estimate that we'll be able to launch this February 1st. After the launch, we'll discontinue what currently is our ESS substitute training and implement this more tailored substitute training. The cost of this is estimated at $75,000, and that would be, from February 1st through the end of the year, because we want to pay people that go through the training, and our goal is to get 75 people trained every month between February and June. So this is the research we did. We looked at Forsyth Tech and what their program for substitute teachers, what it offered. It was virtual and asynchronous. It went over a lot of the areas that we would want to go over, but it also cost $80, and it was over a longer period of time, 4 weeks, 24-hour delivery content, and it's offered only 5 times per year. So we went on to look at, what is ESS already doing with our subs, which is part of what we've already done. And that's a 5-hour training that's offered twice a week. And it's centralized because ESS is a national organization. So we really liked their training. We just felt there needed to be more if we were going to make the adjustment in the education level. And again, it's not as tailored to our district. There's apps out there that can also do asynchronous training, so we looked at one of those. And so the last two at the bottom have what we're really proposing, that for non-certified subs, that we use our internal resources to have a 3-day training that's about 23, 24 hours in total, that has 16 hours of content and 7 hours of on-the-job training, and we offer it twice a month. And again, we use our staff to be able to deliver it, and that if someone goes through the training and is subs for 5 times, they would get the $250 for having completed the training and utilized their time. If they're already certified, we would make it optional. That should be on here. Optional if they want to participate in this. We don't feel they'll need the 7 hours of on-the-job training because they're certified, they've already been in the classroom. But if they want a refresher on the content and what's going on, we would offer that to them and pay them $170 if they also sub 5 times. So we want to both encourage more subbing. We have a lot of people signing up that aren't subbing. So we wanted a little incentive there, and we also wanted to provide really tailored professional development for our subs. So the recommendation is to change the policy from 48 hours to completion of a high school diploma equivalent and the completion of the substitute training, that we would either use ESSER funding or local funds to pay for the training so that we could, provide an incentive for people to participate in the training. And during our next meeting, we will bring to you additional information about daily sub rates that we're making a recommendation for changes. That will be with many other compensation information that's going to be coming to your next meeting. So are there any questions? I'll leave this up.
And this is just a point of clarity for me. When, at what point is it a part of the application process or what that we inform folks about, you know, things that would be termination and, you know, for behaviors or whatever means that would be for termination if they were to be terminated as a sub or whatever? When, at what point do we, how, I guess my question actually is, how are they informed and when?
I would believe generally during the orientation part, but Ms. Parks, you want to come up, or actually, Ms. Gardner, yes. So now our substitutes are employees of ESS. So I have Kayla Gardner that's going to tell you about.
Yep, so typically,
when.
yeah, so it's okay. So typically, that process starts in the orientation process. They're made aware of termination clauses and reasons for termination. And then we go through several series of events with the district's involvement on infractions through an incident management portal.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that we were very clear. Not that I want any of them terminated at all.
Sure, yeah.
But I do know in the past that sometimes that's been a little bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
And I know as desperate as we are for subs, I just don't want, I want to make sure we're being very clear
Yeah,
about
it's ultimately
everything.
still up to the district's jurisdiction, but
Right.
ESS manages that process.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
And then, and they understand that even after ESS, that when they are onboarded with us, that's the
Yes.
case. Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Any other questions?
Have we looked at our pay for substitutes and how that affects our ability to fill these positions?
Absolutely. That's why we're going to bring something to you next week at our next meeting when we're going to be discussing other compensation. It's absolutely an issue. So we feel like if we make this adjustment, we're making some adjustments to pay, we're paying for the training, that would help us with the substitute issue. That's how we're addressing it. Are we good? Do I just stand up here for the action? I'm kidding. So we're good. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
If there are no additional questions, we'll move on to our action item, and the only one we have is to consider approval of the proposed revisions to policy 4122 substitute teachers. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. All those in favor? All right, that passes. And that concludes the agenda for the policy committee. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for joining us on Your School Channel, Cable 2.